Hello and welcome to a yoga session. My name is Eli Khan. Thank you for taking the time to join me today. We will begin our session in a seated position. A little bit closer towards the earth. We're focusing on our breath. Attempting to breathe in and out through the nose at all times. Practicing the use of a positive affirmation. Today, my presence in this world matters. Today, my presence in this world matters. Let's begin to activate. Twist over towards your left side. You're going to stay in this twisted motion. Now this right hand, you're going to breathe in, open this right arm diagonally behind you, and then breathe out. Tap that right hand, maybe to the left knee, or maybe even to the outside of your leg, even closer to your left hand. Breathe in as we open, breathe out as we tap and close. One breath, one movement. Body and mind working together. Breath and movement matching. Let's return to center. Switch the cross of your applesauce. Twist to your right. Breathe in, raise that left arm diagonally behind you. Breathe out, tap that left hand to your right knee or to the outside of your right leg. Today, my presence in this world matters. Today, my presence in this world matters. Let's return to center. As we breathe out, shoulder towards opposite knee. Breathe in, return centrally located. Breathing out as we circle it around. Some of us can move deeper than others. We let go of our competitive spirits. We're letting go of judging others. Letting go of expectations. Now we reverse the direction of our circular motion. We breathe. We listen to our bodies. We feel. Let's return to an upright position. Finding ourselves moving onto our backs. Activated bridge, arms begin up and overhead, knees are bent. As we breathe out, we raise our buttocks off of the mat, dropping our hands down by our feet. Breathe in, resting the booty and raising the arms. Breathing out into our activated bridge. Pressing equally through all four corners of each foot as we lift our hips off of the mat. Some of us can raise our hips higher than others, and again, that is completely acceptable. Blowing out through the mouth, breathing in through the nose. Actually, that's Pilates breathing. Sorry, we're in yoga. Attempting to breathe through the nose at all times to help maintain more heat within our bodies. But if you are experiencing sinus issues, it's okay to breathe through your mouth. Or if you want to experiment with that Pilates breath pattern, in through the nose, out through the mouth, you may as well. Resting those hips down to the mat, crab walk, raise one foot, opposite arm, rest that foot down, and switch over. Maybe just raise a leg, maybe just raise an arm. If you'd rather flatten your leg with a straight knee to the mat, you may. I have some back issues, so I prefer to rest my feet to the mat with bent knees. Go with what feels best for your body. Preparing for an activated spinal balance. Let's rest our feet to the mat. We're going to straighten one leg forward and pull one knee into our chest, pressing that knee over. And slowly come back to center as you breathe in. Breathe out, pull the other knee up, and switch. Breathe in, hold. Breathe out as we switch. Breathe in to hold. Breathe out to switch. And your pace might be faster. It might be slower than mine, and that's okay. And if this hurts by any means, return to your crab walk. This will be our last repetition of this particular activation sequence. Come back to center. A little bit of abdominal work from our Pilates mat repertoire. Tilt the pelvis in, raise your feet up to the height of your knees to your Pilates tabletop. 90-degree fold below the knee joint, 90-degree fold at the hip joint. Breathe in, maybe nod your head, yes. Breathe out, possibly curl the head off of the mat, lifting the hands. Breathe in, hands to one thigh. It's okay to keep your head resting. Breathe out, single leg stretch. Breathe in, tabletop. Breathe out, other leg. And shh, 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 shh. Last set. Shh. Hands to the forehead, behind the head, or crisscross in front of your chest. You can rest your feet to the mat if you wanted to. Breathe out, twist, armpit towards opposite knee. Breathe in, center. Breathe out, other side, obliques. Breathe in, center. Blow out. Breathe in. Blow out. Breathe in. Shh. 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 Last set. Double leg stretch, head could be resting. Breathe out, take your imaginary hat off your head. Breathe in, pull your socks on. Blow out, extend legs and or arms. Breathe in, pull them back together. Blow out, take the imaginary hat off your head. Breathe in, pull your socks on. Blow out, take the hat off. Breathe in, pull the socks on. Blow out, take the hat off. Breathe in, pull the socks on. Blow out, take the hat off. Breathe in, pull the socks on. Last blow out, take the hat off. Breathe in, pull the socks on, scissors. Breathe in, hands behind one leg. Breathe out, reach the other leg down twice. Shh, shh, and switch it. Shh, 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 shh. Reach the bottom leg down and reach. Reach the head could rest or stay elevated. Shh, 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 and 2, 2, reach, 2, 2, last set, and 1. 1, breathe in, bend those knees, reach those hands forward, tabletop, breathe out, rest. Everything back down. We find ourselves up to a seated position. We're wrapping our feet around towards the backs of our mats. Moving into our child's pose extended, little muscle memory of a place we can return to if our bodies need to take a break. Realizing our child's pose extended can serve as a substitute for down dog. Let's curl our toes under and move into our down dog if that's in our yoga arsenal for today. Walking the dog. Today, my presence in this world matters. Today, my presence in this world matters. Starfish hands, even weight distribution amongst our fingertips and our palms. Resting our knees to the mat, hands underneath shoulders, knees underneath sit bones. We breathe out, round our mid-backs, up into our cat. Breathe in, arch, into our cow. Moving as fast or as slow as your breath guides, possibly substituting a fist for a wrist. Returning to a neutral spine. Child's pose, extended. Breathing into our plank or our modified plank. Breathe out, return to child's pose extended or downward facing dog. Activated, breathe into plank or modified plank. Breathe out to down dog or child's pose extended. One breath, one movement continuation. It's okay to hang out in your down dog. It's okay to hang out in your plank. It's okay to hang out in your child's pose. Let's hang out in our down dog or our child's pose extended. Let's walk, hop, or jump, feet forward, forward fold. Using the power of our legs, we breathe in, circle sweep those arms to the side. Breathing out, releasing our hands to our heart center. We step our left foot back into a wide sunflower stance. Toes turn out towards the corners of our mats, heels slightly turn inward. Sunflower circles, raise those arms up and overhead. You choose the direction you'd like to circle, sweep the floor, folding those knees and straightening the legs back up. Fold one knee, then sweep the floor, fold the other knee, stand on up. Breath continuation. You choose how deep you fold into your knee joints, how close those hands may get to the floor, or actually sweep that floor. We reverse the direction of our sunflower circles. The next time we breathe in, let's stay upright. The next time we breathe out, we release our hands and our energy to our heart center. We're stepping forward towards the front of our mats. Sun salutations, the beginning and the ending of our sun salutation. If you get lightheaded doing this, it's okay to find an acceptable substitute for your particular needs. Breathe in, lengthening arms up and overhead. The beginning and the ending of our sun salutations. Breathe out, swan diving forward, hinging from our hips. Hands can rest at thighs, knees, shins, blocks, textbooks, feet, or floor. Breathe in, look forward, monkey pose. Breathe out, relax through head and neck. Use the power of your legs. Breathe in, circle, sweep those arms up and overhead. Breathing out, chair pose. Breathe in, lengthen back up, extended mountain. Breathing out, we swan dive, hinge from our hips into our forward fold. Breathe in, gazing forward, monkey. Breathe out, relax through head and neck. Breathe in, we reverse our swan. Breathing out, chair pose. Breathing in, lengthening back up, extended mountain. Breathing out, we're swan diving, hinging from our hips into our forward fold. Breathe in, we gaze forward, monkey. Breathe out, relax through head and neck. Breathe in as we reverse our swan. Breathing out, chair pose. One more. Breathe in, lengthen back up, extended mountain. Breathing out, we swan dive, hinge from our hips into our forward fold. Breathe in, we're gazing forward, monkey. Breathe out, relax through head and neck. Breathe in as we reverse our swan. Breathing out, chair pose. Breathe in, let's lengthen back up, full sun salutations. Breathe out, swan diving forward, left side first today into our forward fold. Breathe in, we're gazing forward, monkey pose. Breathe out, we step our left foot back, kneeling warrior or crescent lunge, mindful of right knee placement. Breathe in, lengthening heart center sky. Breathe out, release our hands as we step back, down dog or child's pose extended. We breathe into our plank or our modified plank. Breathe out, we maybe lower down, chaturanga. Breathe in, drop the hips, roll up dog. Breathe out, back to down dog or child's pose extended. We step our left foot forward. Breathing in, kneeling warrior or crescent lunge. Breathing out, release our hands as we step forward, forward fold. Breathe in, we reverse our swan. Breathe out, chair pose. Right side. Breathe in, lengthen back up, extended mountain. Breathing out as we swan dive, hinge from our hips, forward fold. Breathe in, gazing forward, monkey pose. Breathe out, relax through head and neck. We step our right foot back, kneeling warrior or crescent lunge, mindful of left knee placement. Breathe in, lengthening heart center sky. Breathing out, releasing our hands as we step back, down dog or child's pose extended. We breathe into our plank or our modified plank. Breathe out as we lower down, chaturanga. Breathe and drop the hips. Roll upward facing dog. Breathe out, back to down dog or child's pose extended. We step our right foot forward. Kneeling warrior or crescent lunge. Breathing in, heart center sky. Breathe out, release our hands as we step forward, forward fold. Breathing in, use the power of our legs to reverse our swan. Breathing out, chair pose, left side. Breathe in, lengthen back up, extended mountain. Breathing out, we swan dive, hinging from our hips into our forward fold. Breathe in, we gaze forward, monkey pose. Breathe out, we step our left foot back. Kneeling warrior or crescent lunge. Breathing in, lengthening heart center sky. Breathe out, release our hands when we step back, down dog or child's pose extended. Maybe right leg kicks up to a three-legged down dog. Let's breathe into our plank or our modified plank. Breathe out, we lower down, chaturanga. Breathe in, both feet to the mat. Roll up dog. Breathe out, back to down dog or child's pose extended. We step our left foot forward. Breathing in, kneeling warrior or crescent lunge. Breathing out, release our hands as we step forward, forward fold. Breathe in, we reverse our swan. Breathing out, chair pose. Right side, breathe in, lengthen back up, extended mountain. Breathing out when we swan dive, hinging from our hips into our forward fold. Breathe in, we gaze forward, monkey. Breathe out, we step our right foot back. Kneeling warrior or crescent lunge. Breathing in, lengthening heart center sky. Breathing out, releasing our hands as we step back. Down dog or child's pose, maybe left leg kicks up to our three-legged down dog. We breathe into our plank or modified plank, left leg could remain lifted. Breathe out, we lower down, chaturanga. Breathe in, both feet to the mat. Roll up dog. Breathe out, back to down dog or child's pose extended. We step our right foot forward. Breathing in, kneeling warrior or crescent lunge. Breathing out, releasing our hands as we step forward, forward fold. Breathe in, we reverse our swan. Breathing out, chair pose. Left side. Breathe in, lengthen back up, extended mountain. Breathing out as we swan dive, hinging from our hips into our forward fold. Breathe in, we gaze forward, monkey pose. Breathe out, we step our left foot back, kneeling warrior or crescent lunge. Breathing in, lengthening heart center sky. Breathe out, release our hands, maybe kick our right leg back into our three-legged down dog. We breathe into our plank or our modified plank. Breathing out, chaturanga. Breathe in, both feet to the mat, roll up dog. Breathe out, back to down dog or child's pose extended. We step our left foot forward. Right knee to the mat or not, you decide. Breathing in, heart center sky. Breathing out, releasing our hands when we step forward, forward fold. Breathe in, we reverse our swan. Breathing out, chair pose. Right side, final sun salutation. Breathe in, lengthen arms up and overhead. Breathing out when we swan dive, hinging from our hips into our forward fold. Breathe in, we gaze forward, monkey pose. Breathe out, we step our right foot back, kneeling warrior or crescent lunge. Breathing in, lengthening heart center sky. Breathe out, release our hands, maybe kick our left leg back into a three-legged down dog. Let's breathe into our plank or our modified plank. Breathing out, chaturanga. Breathe in, drop the hips, roll up dog, both feet to the mat. Breathe out, back to down dog or child's pose extended. We're stepping our right foot forward. Kneeling warrior or crescent lunge. Breathing in, heart center sky. Breathing out, releasing our hands when we step forward, forward fold. Breathe in, we reverse our swan. Breathing out, chair pose. Let's breathe in, lengthen our arms up and overhead. Breathe out, we release our hands behind our backs, interlacing our hands for a chest expansion. Attempt to raise your hands up towards the ceiling. Some of us have more flexibility in our shoulder girdle than others, and it's okay if you're beyond my range or not. You can stay upright, possibly hinge forward at the hips into another forward fold. Every day is different, every body is different, depending on if you want to multitask with your forward fold and your chest expansion. If you did select a forward fold, soften those knees and bring yourselves upright to your standing position. We release the hold of our hands. We step our right foot back, our left foot back. Mirror image. Left foot back into your wide sunflower stance. We breathe in, lengthen our arms up and overhead. Breathe out, hinge from those hips. Swan dive forward. Hands might rest to blocks, textbooks, or floor, depending on flexibility. You can stay here in your straddle splits. If you're able to, send your hands underneath your legs, palms face the sky, and attempt to sink your head a little bit closer to the mat, the blocks, or your textbooks. Reach those fingertips behind you. And breathe. Now take your hands behind your ankles and wrap them to the outside of your ankles. Fold those knees to achieve this. Now, attempt to straighten your knees and get your head a little bit closer towards the earth. You might have to maintain that fold in the knee joint. Every day is different. Every body is different. Continue to send positive, healing exhalations to whichever area of your body is asking for a little extra attention. We unwrap, fold those knees deeply, unwrap those hands. Hands can rest to your textbook, your blocks, or the floor. Use the power of your legs with softening of those knees and breathe and circle sweep our arms to the sky. Breathing out as we release hands and energy to our heart center. We're going to shimmy our heels in, or you can just walk your feet in. Standing mountain pose facing the side of our mat. We're breathing. You could face the front of your mat if you prefer. I'm just for camera angle purposes facing the side of my mat. Moving into our tree balancing pose. And if you want to move up against the wall to feel more secure, you may. Let's fold our right knee joint and slide, if we can, slide our right foot up to our left ankle, left calf, above the knee, or completely up our left inner thigh. Looks like the hands I selected today may not be conducive to this. We'll see. Potentially hands to heart center. Eye gaze to a fixture. Tree balancing pose. The hands can stay at heart center. If balance allows, raising those hands up and overhead. The hands may or may not stay connected. We breathe. We carefully release. Letting go of our competitive spirit. This next side might be easier to balance on. It might be more challenging. We fold through our left knee joint and our left toes can hit the floor. We can raise our left foot to our ankle, our calf, above the knee, or completely up our right inner thigh. Hands to heart center. Possibly raising arms up and overhead. Today, my presence in this world matters. Today, my presence in this world matters. We carefully release. We're repeating our tree pose, having the option for the tree extension, just an option, not an obligation. Possibly raising our left foot. If you'd like the balancing tree option, right peace fingers around right big toes. Maybe stay here in balance, possibly straighten through the right knee joint, maybe open the right heel towards the front of our mat. Maybe elevate the left arm. regular tree, or I'm showing extended tree. Let's safely release. We switch over to the other side, possibly raising the left foot to the ankle above the knee. Maybe wrap and cap your left peace fingers. You could stay here. You could extend your left heel forward, maybe open that left heel towards the back of your mat, maybe elevate the right arm. We carefully release. Standing mountain pose. Let's reconnect body and mind. Traditional yogis will have the feet side by side with the inner thighs touching. You'll typically see me feet about a sits bones distance apart, a more athletic stance, a more contemporary approach. On our next inhalation, let's raise our toes off of the floor. On our next exhalation, spreading our toes as wide as possible onto that floor below us. Reconnecting body and mind. Today, my presence in this world matters. Today, my presence in this world matters. We breathe and lengthen our arms up and overhead. Breathe out, we swan dive, hinging from our hips. Forward fold. I'll face the front of my mat, airplane pose. Softening my knees, reach the hands behind me, palms face the floor. Raising my head up to the height of my tailbone. Potentially straightening through the knees, imaginary tray of crystal glasses on my back. Possibly stay here. Potentially tapping my right toes back. Maybe raising the right foot up to the height of my spine for warrior three legs. Hands can stay here in airplane arms. Hands can drop down towards the floor and bring biceps by ears for full warrior three arms. Another option, chest expansion arms if balance allows with our warrior three legs. Safely releasing, fingers and toes returning to our forward fold, embracing the difference in sensation between the right and the left sides of our bodies. Return to softening those knees. Airplane arms, hands reach behind us. Raise the head up to the height of our spine. Possibly straighten through those knees. Possibly tapping our left toes back. Maybe stay here. Potentially raising our left foot up to the height of our spine. Hands can stay here in airplane or drop hands to the floor and elevate biceps by ears for our full warrior three arms. Potential chest expansion arms if this worked for us on the first side. Breath continuation. We carefully release. Toes and fingers forward fold. If you need to make your quarter turn so you can move into your downward facing dog, feel free to do so. Fold those knees, flatten those hands to your mat. Walk, hop, or jump. Feet back, downward facing dog. We have beautiful starfish hands. Even weight distribution amongst our fingertips and our palms. resting our knees to the mat, child's pose, extended. Knees can be together or knees can be apart. We walk our hands over to one side of our mat as we sink our booty to the opposing heel. Walking our hands back to center, then over to the opposite side, sinking our booty to the opposite heel as well. Returning hands to center. Curling our toes under, returning to our downward facing dog. We walk, hop or jump, feet forward, forward fold. Using the power of our legs, let's breathe in, circle sweep our arms to the sky. Breathing out as we release hands to heart center. Finding ourselves in a standing spinal twist. If you prefer to sit down so you don't add the balancing portion to this, you may sit down onto your mat. Otherwise, let's start off with our right leg. We're raising our right foot, and you can stand up against the wall to assist you as well. Possibly right hand to the waist, left hand potentially to the outside of our right leg. We can stay looking forward. If we'd like, send our eye gaze over to the right towards the front of my mat. Maybe my eye gaze, if possible, over my right shoulder behind me. We limit rotation of the spine if we're pregnant or if we have back issues. Now we can stay here. If we want to go to the next level, come on back to center. Hamstring flexibility is going to take into factor here. Left peace fingers, wrapping calf around right big toes. You could stay here in balance. You could straighten through this right knee joint. And maybe send your eye gaze over towards the front of your mat or behind you over your right shoulder. We return to center. We switch to the other side. Possibly raising our left foot off of the mat. Left hand to the waist, right hand possibly to the outside of our left leg. Maybe send the eye gaze towards the back of your mat. Maybe send your eye gaze behind you over your left shoulder. This side might be easier to balance. This side might be more challenging. Potentially return to center. This side might work or not. Right peace fingers, wrapping calf around left big toe. Potentially stay here. Maybe straighten through this left knee joint. Maybe send our eye gaze over towards the back of our mat or the eye gaze behind us. You can straighten your left elbow joint. I don't think I gave us this option on the first side, but it's an option. Let's carefully return to center. Standing mountain pose. We breathe in, lengthen our arms up and overhead. Breathe out when we swan dive. Hinge from our hips. Forward fold. Gorilla pose. There's a few different levels to this. Let's start off bending our knees so our chest is attached to our thighs. Now, Raise your feet up, keep your heels down, and place your palms underneath the soles of your feet so the palms are facing the ceiling, the backs of your hands are onto the mat, and keep those knees bent to start off. Now you can rock forward and back, adjusting your body weight from your heels to your toes. Find a place where you can stay balanced. Now attempt to straighten through your knee joints, and some of you might need to keep those knees bent, and that's okay. The next option, the next time you breathe in, look forward into your monkey pose, but we're in gorilla. Breath continuation with your monkey pose neck position. The next time you breathe out, relax through head and neck. Let's release our hands from underneath our feet, rolling out our wrists. Reversing the direction of that wrist roll. Soften your knees. Using the power of our legs, let's breathe in. Circle sweep our arms back up and overhead. Releasing hands and energy to our heart center. Preparing for a standing dancer balancing pose. Again, you can move over to the wall to assist you if you need the wall's assistance. We'll begin folding our left elbow, taking our right hand to our right foot. If balance allows, you can lay on your side and perform a sideline dancer pose. Maybe straighten through the left elbow joint and reach the left arm up. Possibly stay here. Potentially, I'm going to soften through my left knee joint and hinge my heart center forward. If balance and flexibility allow, taking that left hand to your right foot as well. And breathing. Carefully return to center. Before we switch to the other side, let's hang out here in our standing mountain or just resting on our side if we're laying on our side. Today, my presence in this world matters. Today, my presence in this world matters. Possibly folding through our right elbow joint. Maybe sending our left foot to our left hand. Eye gaze to a fixture. Potentially straighten through the right elbow joint as we reach the right fingers to the sky. Possibly stay here. Potentially hinge forward. Maybe send our right hand to our left foot. Breath continuation. Carefully releasing ourselves from our pose. If we're standing, returning to our mountain pose. Palms facing forward. Shoulders relaxed away from our ears. We breathe in, lengthen our arms back up and overhead. Breathe out when we swan dive. Hinge from our hips. Forward fold. I made a quarter turn towards the front of my mat. We breathe in, gaze forward, monkey pose. Breathe out, relax through head and neck. Hang out here in your forward fold. Possibly take your hands off of the mat and just sway side to side. If you'd rather stay centrally located, you're welcome to stay centrally located. If you chose the swaying options, return to center. Release your hands to your mat or to your blocks. Soften those knees if necessary. We walk, hop, or jump, feet back. Downward facing dog or child's pose extended. We have starfish hands. Even weight distribution amongst our fingertips and our palms. Resting our knees to our mat. Child's pose, extended, modified with bent elbows, stacking fist on top of fist, resting forehead onto stacked fists. You could also rest your forehead onto your block or your textbook. The textbook might be a little hard, so maybe a towel on top of that textbook to add a little cushion for that forehead. Or send your hands back to regular child's pose, sending those hands back down towards your feet. Walking those hands forward into your extended child's pose. Curling your toes under, downward facing dog. Today's theme seems to be a lot of balance poses. We're going into our pigeon pose next. So you can stay here in down dog and perform the traditional pigeon, but if you know you have knee issues, it's okay to lay down on your back and perform reclining pigeon. But I'm actually going to visually show you standing pigeon to go along with today's theme of balancing poses. So, if you want to join me, walk, hop, or jump your feet forward into your forward fold. I'm going to give a quarter turn so you can see what's going on, and breathe in, I stand on up. But if you're still in down dog, it's okay to get into your regular pigeon, raising that right knee up towards the ceiling. For my standing pigeon, we're going to actually start off with a gentle chair. Then, and if you need the assistance of the side wall to hold on to that wall, go for it. Placing right ankle to thigh. The left knee is slightly bent for those of you that are standing. Bend a little bit more into that left knee joint so you can hinge your heart center forward and rest your hands to your textbook, even a chair that's nice and sturdy, or fingertips to the floor. Once you get your hands or your fingers to hold on to something steady, fold and straighten for my standards through your left knee joint to determine if one position feels more challenging or less challenging, more desirable or less desirable. For those of you that are standards, if balance allows, release your hands from the floor or those blocks and return to your chest expansion. Oh, and those of you that are in down dog, hopefully you're in your regular pigeon. Or if you're on your back, hopefully right ankle to left thigh, regular pigeon as well. Wherever we are, we're bringing ourselves back to our central position. For those of us that were standing, a standing mountain pose. Ready to move to the other leg. Left knee raises up for my regular down doggers. If you're standing, squat down into a chair. Left ankle to right thigh. Hinge the heart center forward for my standers. Drop the hands, the fingers to floors or blocks. Experiment, fold and straighten through the right knee joint for those of us that are standing. Find a place where you feel challenged, yet successful. Standers, if you want to add your chest expansion, if balance allows, go for it. We carefully release the hold of our hands, returning to our central location. Standards during your mountain pose. If you are in a regular pigeon, hang out in your down dog or your child's pose extended. If you are laying on your back, go into a bridge pose right now, both feet to the mat, and lift your butt off of the mat. Wherever we are, let's focus on our breath. Our word of the day is music. M as in Mary, U as in umbrella, S as in sugar, I as in iguana, C as in cat. Music is our word of the day. For those of you that are laying on your backs in your bridge, you can stay there. You can perform an activated bridge. If you're in down dog or child's pose, stay there, because those of us that are standing, let's breathe in and join those down doggers. Extended mountain. Breathe out, we swan dive. Hinge from our hips. Forward fold. Let's firmly plant our hands to the mat. Walk, hop, or jump, feet back. Downward facing dog or child's pose extended. We're resting our knees to the mat as we walk our hands back towards our feet, sitting back onto our heels, wrapping our feet around towards the front of our mats, and joining those people that were performing those bridges or those activated bridges. Let's have everybody rest their hips down. And if we have a strap nearby or a spare t-shirt, we're going into straightening our right leg up to the sky. If you have the flexibility to take your right peace fingers and wrap and cap your right peace fingers around your right big toe, go for it. Otherwise, send that strap around. Or if you don't have a strap available, hold on behind your right hamstrings up to your calf, your ankle, whatever you can hold on to. Pressing your right heel towards the ceiling as you tug your right toes in towards your face. We breathe. Now opening our right foot out to the side of our mat, anchoring our left butt cheek to our mat. Let's return to center, folding through this knee joint, resting this foot down. Other side, raise that left leg, and maybe left peace fingers, wrapping calf around our left big toes, realizing we can hold our hands behind our left hamstrings up to our calf or our ankles, depending on flexibility. Strap can go around the arch of our left foot, or a spare t-shirt or a towel can go around the arch of our left foot. Opening our left foot out to the side, anchoring both butt cheeks to our mat. We breathe. Let's go back to center, folding through this knee joint, resting our feet to the mat, both feet to the mat with knees bent. Bridge pose, raising our hips off of our mat as we walk our shoulders a little bit closer towards our feet. Maybe another chest expansion underneath our buttocks, if we so desire. We release the hold of our hands. We release our buttocks back down. Straightening our legs forward. Pulling our right knee in towards our chest. If we can, pressing our right knee to the left side of our mat with our left hand. Opening the right arm out to the side, letter T shape for a supported spinal twist. Maybe sending our eye gaze over towards our right hand as well. Potentially dorsiflexing our left foot, lifting our left toes up towards our face. Let's return to center. Straighten through this right knee joint. Fold the left knee up to our chest. Pressing our left leg over to the right side. Sending our eye gaze to our left hand if possible. Dorsiflexing our right foot. Pulling our right toes up towards our knee. And breathing. Let's carefully return to center. Starting off at our lower extremities for our muscle tightening before we enter relaxation. Curl those toes under and start to clench the muscles in the bottom of your feet, moving up through the arches into your heels, to your ankles, dorsiflexing those feet, lifting and engaging those muscles in your calves, your shins, up into your quadriceps, your hamstrings, your gluteals, tightening through the abdominal core, moving through the rib cage, up the spine, into those shoulders. Let's go down the biceps, triceps, fold the elbows, tighten through the fists, clenching through the jaw, tightening the eyes closed, holding on to every single muscle that we have. Now from where we started, let's soften through our toes, relaxing through the padding of our feet, the arches of our feet, our ankles, our feet flop open. We soften through the calves and the shins. We soften through the knees, relaxing through the quadriceps, relaxing through the booty, relaxing through your tailbone, softening through the abdominal core, around the rib cage, relax, move up through those shoulder blades, softening through your biceps, your triceps, your inner elbows, relax, your wrists relax, you allow your palms to float towards the sky, releasing tension in the fingers, relaxing through the throat, relaxing through the face, the eyes can remain closed. If you prefer to bend your knees to alleviate low back pressure, you may. Maybe nod the knees inward and the feet outward. Maybe butterfly, soles of the feet to touch. Possibly rolling onto a side into a fetal position. Maybe rolling onto your belly. If you'd like to scoot your body up against a wall, that's my choice for today. And elevate your feet up that wall. Find a place acceptable for your body. Taking the next 5 minutes to breathe. I'll talk you out of this, or I'll call you out of this as I normally do. This is your time to breathe. This is your time to feel. Let's gently roll over to one side, finding ourselves into our fetal position, beginning to wiggle fingers and toes to help reawaken our bodies, reawakening our voices. Today, my presence in this world matters. Today, my presence in this world matters. We gently press ourselves up, returning to our seated position. Let's breathe and lengthen those arms back up and overhead. We breathe out as we release our hands and our energy to our heart center. Thank you for taking the time to join me today. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste.